Friday. The wonderful Friday, the Friday that made us who we are as Christians anyway. Okay, you're welcome. Um, well, my name is Sijama, and I have other people that have joined me to look at what the papers are saying today.
Yes,
Morning,
I'm
Ife.
Fiona Chukwu. You know, when you said Good Friday, you smiled. You know,
Am I supposed to be crying?
you're supposed to,
That was
frown.
what. That was why I added that the Friday that made us who we are today is a thing of joy. Honey, hey, bring out. Okay. Okay, welcome back. Yes, Ife. You said I smiled when I
You
said Good
smiled when
Friday.
you said Good Friday, and I said you should be mourning. But then I remembered that Christ died for our redemption.
I said that was why I added that. Sir. It was the Friday that made us who we are as Christians. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been any hope for us. So it's a Good Friday, not a morning Friday. Yes. Obinna, Ikechukwu.
Good morning, everyone, for joining us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, Ife. So we'll take a break, and then when we come back, we'll bring you a press review this morning.
Yes.
Okay, welcome back. It is press review this morning with your friends in the house. Ife, we have Daily
We have
Times.
the Daily Times,
Okay.
Vanguard, Punch, The Nation, Daily Independent, Daily Trust, and then the Tribune.
Okay. Let's start somewhere.
We'll start with the Daily Times. Obinna, will you take it? Can you
Yes,
take
on the
it?
Daily Times, we have Defense Headquarters declares physics professor 7 others wanted for killing 17 soldiers.
Physics professor.
And the writer to that says troops would continue with efforts until culprits are arrested, tried. And still on the rider, military releases 313 terror suspects to ruling government.
We still have others there.
Yeah, still on Daily Times, we've got alleged Malabo oil scam, court discharges ex-AGF Adoke and others. And we also have reps vow to recover 2 government helicopters sold to private individuals. That's on page 2 of the Daily Times. And still on Daily Times, we have minister directs new marshals to smoke out illegal miners. There's been a lot of focus on the mining sector.
Idea.
recently.
Solid minerals mining.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a thing by Dela Lake, the new structure, the military structure around solid minerals and all that. But still on Daily Times, we'll have federal government stakeholders to reduce black carbon emissions by 83% in 2030. We also have 11 more states to join World Bank project on girls' education, says Education Minister. And that's on page 9 of the Daily Times. Still on Daily Times, we have Nigeria may kick out TV after, or rather before 2030. This is coming from the First Lady.
Then calls for renewed commitment to stamp out TV. Ichema,
Yeah, go ahead.
what actually interested me was the involvement of a physics professor and 7 others wanted for killing of 17 soldiers.
Is he really involved? These are suspects.
Suspects, I know.
The community they have come out to say that they had initially engaged in peace talks with the military and all that, but the military is saying it wasn't a peace talk or thereabout. So
That they need a pound of flesh.
yeah,
Yes.
so probably these conflicts, lots of conflicts there from the reports from the community, reports from the military, and all that. So probably because the military is a government parastatal, they've got more influence on the media and all that, and we are not really being able to get probably enough info.
It's only the one they give us that we know, because it does agree everything is shrouded in secrecy.
And this morning I also heard one of the papers say that one of the kings, their kings, the wanted king, traditional ruler, has given up. He has come out to surrender himself What we are praying is that no person who's innocent will, have himself killed because of this.
Lots of lives lost already.
Okay.
Okay, this other story down here, alleged Malabo oil scam, court discharges SAGF Adoke and others. Are they discharging them or discharging and acquitting them or whatever? Because that's the language we started hearing recently, that you could be discharged but not acquitted, and then you could be acquitted and not discharged. Until both of them come together, come out from the mouth of the judges, so they will know which one that you belong to. So are they saying that they did not steal the mineral again? Because it does appear we'll have two different laws for this country, because it's an SGF or SAGF, so there'll be a lot of consideration on his part.
Probably so. This is a fact of the case.
And the thing is that once the court declares, you're just a human. You don't have the right to say anything on that because the court has said.
You can always go to a higher court.
Maybe Supreme Court.
But it's right there in the Daily Times if you want to get the content.
Okay.
So moving away from the Daily Times, we're on the Vanguard. On the Vanguard, we have our CBN's new capital base, top 5 banks in 1.5 trillion naira shortfall. And a key cut to that, we've got international commercial banks get 500 billion as minimum. Still on that, national commercial banks, 200 billion naira. Banks giving 24 months deadline, and that's on page 3 of the Vanguard newspaper. Alright, still on the Vanguard, we've got Nigeria records sound electricity system collapse in 2024. That's on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Still on the Vanguard, we've got Okwama Defense Headquarters declares Delta Monarch militant leader, 6 others wanted, and that's on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Still on the Vanguard, CAF Confederation Cup, USM Algiers protest over timing of Rivers United clash. Alright, and still on the Vanguard, persons in corridors of power behind my ordeal. This coming from Olatunji, Freed First News editor, and that's on page 2 of the Vanguard newspaper. Still on the Vanguard, confusion as chairman, directors fight over sack of Echo Disco managing director and CEO, and then Binance executives use NSA, EFCC, and the key got to that, federal government to arraign Binance, 2 others for alleged tax evasion, I think on the 4th of April.
Okay. So and an interesting one about warming your car and warming your soup. I have Mr. and Mrs. By now, Mrs. said, by now she own a car. It's not nice for me to do nothing when you warm your car every morning. And the man said, you can warm the soup.
Always warming. While I warm my car, you warm your soup.
Can you beat that?
And this is a period to warm soup because there's no power supply anywhere.
I'm telling you.
So it's not that you cook and then preserve in the freezers again, no more. So you keep warming your soup while I warm my car. Warm the car because there's little or no fuel in it.
And let's take a look at the ordeal of, before you take the next paper, Ijoma, let's take a look at the, what Olatunji, that Freed editor said. First News editor said, persons in corridors of power behind my ordeal. This brings to reality what journalists suffer, what they go through in the face of executing their jobs. So I feel like we said yesterday that these people stand in the gap, so they should be treated as special people. Not they go through all odds to get the news to your doorstep. We've had cameramen in our office that were bastardized, beaten to a pulp. Some of them were even maimed for life. And just because they wanted to cover a beat and people went irate, they were not happy that, journalists were there. I mean, they should see us as people who bridge the gap.
Yeah, the thing there is people don't want the right information to get to people. People want to, conceal certain information, especially the good ones or thereabouts. They want to call the shots and keep doing things that may not really be right. So
they live right.
Yeah. So when they get to,
if you don't want us to see the other side of you, live right.
Yeah. When they get to see people who are really very willing to put out the right information there, you see them trying to climb on them or something like that.
And these are either policymakers or people that are supposed to guide our laws, and then look at what they are doing.
I wouldn't just say about, but it's what he said about people in the corridor of power and all that. It's not a good one.
So the table has turned now. Binance executive sues NSA, EFCC. Can you beat that? How can the hunter become the hunter?
It's quite funny because a few days ago, reported that the Binance executive did sneak out of the country
Yes.
somehow through, they told us this they snuck out, but it's quite.
But people helped him to sneak out.
It's not just about you flew. This person had to go through the custom, immigration, and all that. I think reports have it that these guys actually flew first class. So how did this happen?
Of Kenyan
But now
Airline.
they're turning around to say they're suing the federal government and all that. Probably because they were wrongfully detained. They came in to have a discussion with the federal government and somehow they were kept. And let's see how this turns out.
Yeah, that's what they said. They say they infringed in their human rights.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why they're suing them, and they don't have the rights to arrest them in the first place. If you feel we have breached any contract, you come. We'll talk about it, not arresting us.
Yeah, of course.
But you are in a nation that knows when you infringe their own rights or whatever, and then they should, I mean, call you to order. Okay, you don't have to dictate to us how we run this country. That's exactly what we're looking at.
Whatever did happen between them, it's more like a business when it has to do with business.
We're yet to hear more about this. Okay, IJ, take the Punch.
Okay, Punch newspaper. CBN raises capital base for megabanks to 500 billion naira. Is the banner headline here. As you must have seen that all the papers that we have today, one security company is celebrating the president. That's President.
He's 72.
Tinubu at 72. Okay, so one particular, what do you call it, security company, what do they call themselves? Tantita Security Services is celebrating him in all the front pages of today's paper. Okay, and then what do we have any rider attached to? Okay, Cardoso gives banks 24 months to capitalize national lenders to raise 200 billion naira.
Do you think the banks will meet this
50 billion
deadline?
naira. Oh yeah, that's why we're
500
saying that,
billion
that
naira.
it's like they're looking at another merging exercise again, because if you can meet up, they will merge you with another bank and that kind of a thing. Perhaps that's where they are going again. They say that those that are internationally oriented should have 500 billion naira, those that are nationally oriented 200 billion, and then those that are regionally oriented will have 50 billion naira, and just like that. And then you are giving them just 24 months to apply all this, and then otherwise you'll be swallowed by other banks as usual.
You see the federal government boasting about raising revenues and all that. Probably it's one of the their tactics, something they're looking to do to raise more revenue. But at the same point, I feel when you're raising revenues and it's not positively affecting your citizens, lots of question mark on it.
What are you doing with the revenue you're raising when we are hungry and a whole lot of things? Okay, still coming from that paper, Buhari, National Assembly, Sanwo-Olu, others held Tinubu at 72. Okay, Delta bloodbath, military may place a bounty on monarch, others declared wanted. Which of the monarchs that had turned himself in?
I think there's an update on the Nation newspapers where we have monarch surrenders, Prof, 6 others wanted over a soldier's killing.
Well, Nation newspaper now. Okay, go on.
Yes, and the quality of work on Lagos Calabar Coastal Road excites Umahi. Renewed Hope initiate. The New Hope initiative leads anti-TB campaign with 1 billion naira. That's huge. And then we have bank measures likely as CBN directs 500 billion naira capital base, and report lists why naira will continue to rally against the dollar. Okay, still on that bank measure, we have this rider. Apex Bank expects roadmap by April 30. Financial institutions get March 31, 2026 as a deadline. Okay, LP owns NLC Energized Board of Trustees. I don't know what LP is getting into, turning into. Very controversial. Okay, Tinubu lifting Nigeria to enviable heights.
You didn't conclude that story on LP.
Okay,
There
okay,
are
the
two
riders.
there,
We didn't monitor program, says INEC.
and that's just the bottom line. So it's illegal. The
Lawmakers
convention is
defect to
illegal.
PDP.
The Labour Party has come out to say they actually did inform INEC. They give them enough information to say this is actually happening, and INEC didn't show. But
But you know,
Why didn't they show up?
I'm not INEC.
Because it's a divided house. So if they receive two
It's
letters,
not-
if they receive one letter from this side,
but
that
INEC
right,
should
you're
say that
having
they
a convention.
no,
It's
INEC should
not
tell
on
us.
that. And the board of
INEC should tell us that they
trustees-
received 2 letters.
Yes, and the board of trustees and other big members are saying that there's no convention, don't mind them. So what do you expect them to do?
It's not on whatever, but at least if INEC.
No, we're just speculating what would have, made INEC not to monitor
But
that.
INEC should have told us, what happened.
Okay, maybe they
Maybe they wrote. They said they wrote. And did you receive the letter? No. Yes. And then we'll keep going. Then we have Tinubu lifting Nigeria to enviable heights, says Buhari. Okay, say Buhari, governors, others. And then a rider, eminent Nigerians celebrate president at 72. Okay, that's on page 2. Okay, and then finally, my life no longer safe, says journalist freed from military custody. Still talking about the freedom of journalists. Where
Okay. And by way of concluding the convention of the Labour Party that took place in Aksu Lewi the other day, that's still a right of what happened in Enugu. So you asked the question, what is happening to LP, the lawmakers that defected to PDP, and they start wondering. Just the other day, all of them, basked in the euphoria of Obi is going and let's go with him, and they won election, and now they're defecting. What could have happened? What do you think that happened?
It's all about when you're in your house, for the younger about and the government they're gonna a lot of things. I'm not there, but a lot of things happen behind the scene. They are not receiving certain allocations, lots of pressure behind the scene, offering them certain GC private contracts or things to actually
Positions in the house.
So these will happen. But again, it's all about greed.
Okay, maybe tomorrow they will tell us that there's a problem in their party. That's why they're leaving, because it's one of the rules that will make you, leave your party.
do you believe that?
What is unbelievable in Nigeria now?
That is because of
Everything
party
is
politics that they are
everything
defecting.
is possible. They can cook up anything.
I'm accepting that with doubt. Okay.
Okay, down here, this story that I read here, Tinubu lifting Nigeria to enviable heights, say Buhari. And if somebody is asking, is Buhari mocking us?
I think all these elites should get to the field, get to the field and feel people's pulses.
How
Let them
rich
feel-
Nigeria.
Yes, let them feel how people feel. It's only then that they will tell us more about this. I pray that he lifts Nigeria to enviable heights. That's our prayer. And we want him to succeed.
Whether we like it or not, some persons are actually benefiting from whatever.
But just a handful, just few.
Yeah, so, but again, it's most important that at least a reasonable number, majority, are actually benefiting. That's when you say, oh, you're doing so well, or something like that. Because the president may be there giving
For me, an ordinary Nigerian, I will always believe. I can only believe this when I hear that a bag of rice is 17,000 or 15,000.
Dream,
That we produce,
dream.
or that a bag of beans is about 20,000. That the common man can afford. And yam, a tuber of yam is not 1,500 naira, but about 300.
As it used to be.
Yes, and then fuel is 197 naira.
That's where we shouldn't go to.
Or 200 naira.
That's
It's only then that you can tell me, and then I'll say, okay, yeah. And I think it's the president's target. Let's believe that it's his target. And these things come down.
Inshallah.
You're subsidizing fuel and it's quite expensive. You're not looking at Umahi, quality of work on Lagos, Calabar, coastal roads, exciting. Umahi,
Which paper?
on the nation.
Okay.
Can we say Umahi is doing so well as the Minister for Works?
So far, so good.
Because
He did well as a governor on infrastructural development. He did well, so I will not even be surprised if he does you know, he performs very well as a minister.
Minister for what?
Yes.
And he's an engineer. So
He's an engineer. That's a very good one.
Lots of road constructions going around, happening in the southeast. I was going to Enugu during the weekend. You could see him, making efforts and all that. But that's a great one.
Exactly.
Okay. Can you take Daily Independent?
Okay, on the Daily Independent, we've got we follow due process. That's of the National Convention. The banner headline: we follow due process. BOT can't take over party, coming from the Labour Party. And a kicker to that says so-called BOT chair. Others left party over 20 years ago. And that's on page 29 of the Daily Independent. And we also have Defense Headquarters declares Professor Woman 6 others wanted over killing of 17 soldiers. Says Kuriga school children played significant role in rescue efforts. Also page.
They don't add woman there. Woman don't enter.
This is what we see.
So, what a man can do.
Yeah.
A woman can also do.
That's another thing about trying to settle issues amicably. Whether the community actually did kill soldiers or thereabout, but it actually did happen. And you can't take away the fact that one way or another, the community had a hand.
They said the witch cried in the night and baby died in the morning. So how do you separate the two incidents?
It's very important that, especially when you have issues with security agencies, the police or thereabout, should try to settle these things.
Okay, let's look at this Labour Party crisis. So what is the role of the NLC in Labour Party? So let's see where this problem is coming from.
It's their party, of course. You've heard them say that it's their party.
It's more like, the Labour Party is more like a party for...
They're doing well.
He's already the chairman. He was the chairman when Obi...
They should leverage on it.
This is the only party that's come out to say this is how much we may have spent. No other political party has done that at the moment. So whatever it is, I think this is the best time for them to this is what it actually is to be an opposition party, and will structure themselves within the party to stay stronger. It doesn't really have to do with changing the leader, but if it's what is best for them.
But if the leadership is not functioning very well, so don't you think there's need for it to be changed?
The leadership is not functioning.
And I think the party they are highly segregated.
And that's what the party is one segregated as scattered. You can't hold them together. Then that doesn't show strength as a good leader.
I was listening to one man who, he's a member of the party, maybe an aggrieved member of the party. He was talking down on their presidential candidate, former presidential candidate, Peter Obi, saying that he wants to Anambra-ize Labour, to immunize Labour, to Ebonianize Labour and all these.
Immunize Labour.
Then generally he said to immunize Labour. And, I think they've segregated the party.
These are just, any group you find yourself, any political party you find yourself, you always get to see people making statements and all that, but it's on the leader. Let's not talk about political parties, but any group you find yourself, you always see pockets of people who probably are looking at the leadership, making statements, wanting to be influential and all that. So it's on the leadership to say, okay, these things are normal. It's very normal for you to see people who are not happy with the leadership, probably personal interest or thereabout. Again, I'm just of the opinion that this is the best time for them to show grit, stay stronger, stay close-knitted, work with the right persons, and it's not going to be easy. They've not found themselves at this point, at this level before. Once we back
exactly.
when
especially now that the major political parties are seeing them as a threat.
Governor of Ogun State, then very recently Ifeanyi Ubah from Navy. So, but they've not really seen themselves at this level. So this is the first time they need to show grit, come together, understand, okay, we made mistakes here and there, but let's stay strong. That's the most important.
And they need trust above all things. They need trust.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, they are now in beats. When you see yourself as a Yoruba man, and this one as Igbo man, the other as a German, in a party.
Yeah, we see this.
It's not going to work.
We see this in other political parties.
It's always been there,
Yes,
exactly.
We see this in PDP, we see this in the APC and all that.
We saw that when the PDP was gearing up for their convention in 2021. It was like that. Who is going to take it? Is it the South or the this and that? So it's like it's the management of the crisis that is the ultimate, and that's why you need a very strong chairman to manage this crisis within the party.
I think the other two papers we have are talking about the same issues we've discussed, but we can just run through them.
Okay.
You know, that's Daily Trust and then Tribune. They have just the same thing.
Okay.
With Tantita Security Services taking the lead.
CBN,
Okay.
Okay. On Daily Trust, we've got CBN raises bans capital base to 200 billion naira, and then a kicker to that: institutions with international authorization to raise 500 billion naira, set in 4 months as deadline for recapitalization.
That's 2026.
Yeah. 2025.
2026.
Okay, 24 months. Okay, that's 2 years. And that's on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. But again, policies, like policies are being made. It actually does affect businesses. You just made policies a few months ago, and now new policies coming up and all that. It's not a good one for business.
As you are getting used to trying to understand this policy, another one is coming up. You know.
Let's go to
No economy survives like that.
And the Nigerian Tribune got hoodlums.
It's wearing a new look today, and this one is better than what it used to be. Is it because they're celebrating their owner?
Their owner.
Hoodlums
It's
attack.
a birthday edition.
Hoodlums attack Anambra Divisional Police headquarter with IEDs.
We are on the last paper, Nigerian Tribune, please.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
I've got Sekibo Secundus Omehia that's pledged support for Tinubu Fubara, and that's on page 9. Want Wike cautioned. And we still have Opama.
Wike again.
Yeah, Opama killings. Defense headquarters declares 8 suspects wanted. The kicker to that, to release 131 suspected terrorists to Borno government as ordered by court. How military abducted, chained me for 14 days, released editor, narrates audio.
Chained.
What do you?
Like a common criminal. That's too bad on a journalist.
Okay.
Releasing 131 suspects of terrorism.
While you are holding a journalist, you are releasing terrorists.
These things.
It's horrible.
Suspected
I wasn't actually thinking that we're going to see this side of the story again, because that was what we saw during the Buhari era. You arrest soldiers who will suffer, they will be killed, and they will attack people and chase them to their hideouts, get them arrested, and you release them after some few weeks. Okay, and then they get back to Rijik and started killing our soldiers again, and a whole lot of things. I don't really understand what's going on. Let's look at this story, Ife. Hoodlums.
Okay, the war
attack Anambra Divisional
at
headquarters.
Neni police station.
So what do you think? I think the last one was at Orifit or whatever. Two people had that story, Obi Ozobulu, that's Ezis, and then it's Neni, where hoodlums are attacking PlayStations.
And you know, the use of IEDs, you know, these is it hand grenade or you know, locally produced bombs. I mean, government should take a look at this and try to copy, because it's becoming a practice. It's now becoming cultural that young people produce these bombs and then they use it on public facilities. I mean, it's not good.
Too bad.
It's not good. So
Too bad.
we need to find out where these things are coming from. Who are the actors?
And why
And bring
these
them
people are
to
attacking PlayStation? We have heard, I think that story is supposed to be an old story in Anambra State, where hoodlums attack PlayStations. Okay, and then since the inception of this new CP, we have not heard anything like that. This just started again. What exactly is going on? What do you think is going on?
Probably this is telling probably you're doing enough, but this you need development.
You need to do more.
Yeah, you need to do better than you're doing.
Though the police has come out with their statement that there was no cause for
Nobody was
alarm,
killed.
nobody died, no structure damaged, no vehicle
I
damaged.
think they will be running off very soon. They will be running off. I
I
believe
have
that.
trust
They will
the
trace them and
CP.
then get them to
Trust the CP. He will get them.
Not just the CP, security has actually beefed up since the inception of the new government. It wasn't probably not perfect yet, but we can say it's better than it was. Okay, then what does Wike want in River State?
What do you
And that's his home state now. That's his home state. He wants it back.
And which party is he in?
I wouldn't know.
Where is it? Is it in APC or PDP?
He's in ABS.
You need to ask about
That guy, he likes trouble.
It's the first time I've seen parties actually, like say working hand in hand and all that.
Do you call this working hand in hand?
That's what it is.
You're meant to be loyal to your party.
The APC and the PDP now, lots of confusion. And
Labour Party has joined them. Labour Party has joined them.
Whatever, but
what is happening in Labour Party now? That's mega.
It's a faction thing. It's a faction. I remember the governor, sometime one of the conferences. I think I can't remember, but he said he was of the opinion that APC and PDP, both of them are the same party, little or no difference.
Ideologies.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's what we're ending it this morning. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's Good Friday. Tomorrow is Holy Saturday, and then Sunday, Christ resurrects. So let's celebrate as Christians.
Very important.
As Christians.
And like those of you that are reserving fights after the Lent, well, the Lent is over, but the admonition is that however you live during the Lent, you continue with that. That's what makes you a Christian. If anybody has offended you during the Lent and you are saying, let this Lent be over, let me teach you a lesson. You can continue with forgiveness. You cannot turn it to forgiveness. Okay? And then live a better life. Thank you very much. And those of you that worked with us today, thank you. And then those of you that celebrated in ABS, especially one of our newscasters and presenters, presenter Ifoma Akife, Honorable. Happy birthday again. She celebrated yesterday. And there are other people that really celebrated last week again. Can you remember any of them? Okay. And then those that retired and those that came in, congratulations to all of you. We are here for you and you are out there for us. Thank you, Arize and Co. that handled the camera. Thank you, Ebuka and his boys at the MCR. Thank you, Ify Unachuku and your babes at the production room, and a whole lot of people in the house. So thank you, and we also wish you a happy Easter.
I hope at the end of the day that we'll walk out to eat rice.
Whose rice?
The way you're giving us shout out.
Yeah, you're supposed to be fasting today, Ify. Today is Good Friday. You're supposed to be fasting. You're supposed to be Sorasano, Sonsazo, Sonsonni, everything.
By Saturday, we should be mourning and waiting for his resurrection.
Okay.
So by Sunday, you can eat your rice.
It's the commemoration. Christ died over 2,000 years ago, so he's no longer in the grave. He is risen. That's my own understanding of the whole thing. Christ is risen. So we just want to commemorate what really happened over 2,000 years ago. Emmanuel, no, not Emmanuel, Obinna Ikechukwu. So what's your message that people have to go?
Just be good, be positive today. Feel good about yourself, and of course reflect on the reason for the season, and understand that it's part of, as Christians, it's for everyone, and we should reflect on the moment.
Okay. Ify.
Well, like I said, let's all celebrate like Christians. Love your neighbor. If you have anything you can share with your neighbor, do it.
Very important. Ify.
Yes, and you get the blessings you need the most.
Very important.
You'll be surprised. Even though things are very hard, you can always give out one or two things, that can help your neighbor. Share your clothes, share your food, share your drink.
Share a whole lot of things.
A whole lot of things.
And
share love and care.
Share us food. I contribute to our tokosis. As my tested like this, there was pools in the church. You got a big butan, car, rice, you do, be able to think of same at Ionian, car, beast, and car, jinka. A whole lot of things. Abasa can keep where I naba. Can we do something like that? Because if someone I don't have something eating at home, it's them I just 15 naira.
You see the level of difficulties that we have here now. You might decide to open up a kind of full of food where and people will come and take extra.
What are you talking? I will take.
Like what happened in the Bible when God asked them when the manna was falling from heaven, he said, don't take leftovers. They took leftovers and then they had worms in them in the morning.
No, it's not applicable to this one because we'll take leftovers.
So some people will take extra, they go home for tomorrow.
No, but there'll be monitors now. There'll be monitors. It's from Baji. It's a modified cost of beans. It's just if you only for the day. What I go, it's a modified cost of rice. Well, if there's all there, okay, when I monitor.
You're living in fantasy, in world of fantasy.
Everything is possible. People couldn't make palliative nowadays, So let's palliative everywhere, even in the church.
The arrangements for things like this.
Are you serious? I want to go to your church. Where is it?
No, where is it?
On Sunday.
It's actually for those who are really finding it difficult.
Okay.
Honey, where is the church?
I would say, but
Why would you
it's
say?
okay.
No, say
We
it.
need to-
It's okay.
Okay, we need to commend them.
Really?
That's what churches should be doing at this
they
point.
make contributions, monies, well-wishers, parishioners.
Are you
Come
serious?
together, and although very well spearheaded by the parish priest, Father Moses.
I think at CKC we did it once.
So how often do you do that?
He's been doing it. He just came in very recently, and I think something happened during the Christmas celebration and all that. Then also the Society of St. Vincent de Paul.
Okay.
Very recently, they went around. They were at Norton's this popular place for rice. I'm trying to remember the communities and all that. They were at Ubene, they were at
Obo family and all the rest.
they gave out things to people.
Wow.
So the church is actually doing something, but it's just that the church is not really loud about some of
This is good. Like I heard,
Now.
like I knew. Okay, this is good. So St. Anthony's Catholic Church, Enugu, is already doing what I just said now. I am from Enugu, but to be honest with you, I'm hearing it for the first time. I was just suggesting that the church can do this for us. We have been doing a lot for the church. I won't be okay. Say now just 15 since let's also benefit from the church. St. Anthony's Catholic Church Enugu is doing it, so you can do it in your own church. All the Anglican churches, all the Catholic Pentecostals, where we sow seed and then reap nothing. Let us start giving food now, because they're not sure of what they will eat when they get home. So let's do something.
And even even paying fees for the indigent.
And allowing the children of the communicants of your parishioners to be able to access the school. My grandparents to engage well. All these mission schools that are very expensive, we contribute money, build schools, but we can't access it. Obolo umundia ina sinandia na amari for na business. Oh, we are not going to school because they can afford it. So because let's live right. This is all the thing we are bringing together as Christians as we are trying to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ on Sunday. Let us put it in practice. Rapogunuga in the pulpit. Maybe fair gonna affect the life of people. Boyfie.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us and enjoy yourself this Easter. All
right, happy Easter. From all team, good morning, Anambra this week. We wish you happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
In a world hungry for goodness, with a splash of Golden Terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Make a lunch hour a happy hour. Change no thanks into yes please. Provide care when our nearest and dearest needs it most. And resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty, nourishing family meals is all that matters. The world needs moms, because where there are moms, there is hope, happiness, and love. Golden Terra Oil, for pure love.
My champs, they use energy at school.
Your champs need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast.
It has nutrients that support energy released